Since Trump landed in Beijing yesterday, sat down with Xi Jinping and smiled at him, called him a great leader, and posed for the cameras, the mainstream media has spent every hour telling you he kissed Xi's arse. Yeah, let's get something out of the way. Trump did approve NVIDIA's H200 chips for about 10 Chinese companies. That part is real. But the rest of what happened in that room is the part you came here for. Now, imagine the setting. Trump walks into the Great Hall of the People in Beijing on Thursday morning. He has 30 of the most powerful business executives on the planet standing behind him. Elon Musk, Tim Cook from Apple, Larry Fink from BlackRock, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, Kelly Orberg from Boeing, and she welcomes him at the bottom of the staircase. There's a brass band, a marching unit, cheering children waving American and Chinese flags, and then, and you can look this up, the Chinese military band actually plays YMCA. The Village People in Beijing with a Chinese marching band. That happened. I don't know what stage of the simulation we're in, but it is a sight to behold. But well, inside the room, Trump tells Xi he's a great leader, toasts the relationship as one of the most consequential in world history, and invites Xi to the White House on September 24th. Xi calls Trump a great friend and tells the room that China and the United States should be partners, not rivals. Xi went as far as to saying that Trump was making America great again. I was waiting for Xi to just be handed a MAGA hat and put it on. But by then comes the headline that has American conservatives twitching this morning. Washington cleared about 10 major Chinese tech companies, Alibaba, ByteDance, Tencent, JD.com, Lenovo, Foxconn, and a handful of others to purchase NVIDIA's H200 AI chip. The H200 is the second most powerful chip NVIDIA makes. It's the chip behind a lot of the major American AI labs, and now Chinese AI companies are going to be using it too. So if you're a hawk on China, that headline by itself looks like a knife to the chest. The dominant narrative within hours was that Trump folded, that he gave away the crown jewel of Americans' AI lead for a banquet and a photo op, and that the entire trip was theater designed to make Xi look like a peer. But let's go through each front so we really know what's going on. Front 1 is the chip itself. The H200 is a powerful chip indeed, and let's be honest about it, it is the second best one NVIDIA ships. The best one is the Blackwell line. The B100, the B200, the B300. Those are the chips that train America's frontier AI models. Those are the chips that the major American labs are stockpiling. Those are the chips that the China hawks at the Heritage Foundation were begging Trump not to let cross the Pacific. And those chips, yeah, they are still banned. So it turns out that I was wrong and right yesterday. I told you that it was highly unlikely that Trump would allow China to buy NVIDIA chips, but in all cases, it was not going to be the beefier ones. But I made accurate predictions on my blog, thepowerpundit.com, where I write about geopolitics, international markets, and the compute race for AI supremacy. Link in description. So, Trump approved the H200. He did not approve the Blackwell and the actual frontier, the chips that determine who wins the AI race 2 and 3 years from now, stays in American server racks. China gets the previous generation, the relationship gets fed, NVIDIA's stock gets a few $1 billion in restored China revenue, and American AI labs keep their structural lead. And the next time Trump and Xi sit down, the Blackwell ban itself becomes leverage. Something that Xi badly wants, something Trump can hold over the table for the next round. So, Trump gave Xi yesterday's flagship. That's the trade on the chip side. But now in front 2, and this is where the real chess piece moved. Buried in the readout from the meeting, almost as a side note, was this line. Xi expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on the Strait of Hormuz. So, listen to that line again, but slower. China buys roughly 90% of every barrel of oil that Iran exports. China is a customer that keeps Tehran's bills paid. The entire Iranian regime's hard currency lifeline, its single biggest source of cash, runs through Chinese refineries. And in Beijing, Thursday morning, Xi Jinping sat across from Donald Trump and said he wants to buy more American oil to reduce dependence on the Middle East, which is a diplomatic way of saying to reduce dependence on Iran. And then, talking to Sean Hannity, Trump went further, and I quote, "Xi would like to see a deal," he said. "If I can be of any help at all, I would like to be of help." And then Trump's tale about Xi, quote, "Anybody that buys that much oil has obviously got some kind of a relationship with them, China buying that much oil from Iran." That is Trump, in plain language, telling you that the man who has spent 20 years propping up the Iranian regime, Xi, just offered to lean on it. So Trump gave Xi yesterday's flagship chip, and Xi gave Trump the customer that keeps Iran's regime solvent, and then offered to broker the end of the war on top of it. If that exchange holds, Iran loses its largest oil buyer and its most important diplomatic backer in the same week, not over years, but over months. But then we have a third front. While Xi was opening the door on oil, China was also opening the door on Boeing. The Chinese delegation committed to purchase 200 Boeing 737 jets. 200 planes. So China hasn't placed a major Boeing order in years. That order book had been bleeding to Airbus, which is to say, to Europe. So 200 planes coming back to Seattle is a hit to European aerospace, an injection into American industrial jobs, and a signal to the rest of the supply chain that the US-China trade lane is back open for the big-ticket American goods that move the trade deficit. On top of that, soybeans. 12 million tons committed for this harvest. 25 million tons per year for the next 3 years. So American farmers in Iowa and Illinois and Nebraska, the people who were getting crushed by the trade war, just got their largest customer back. So Boeing, soybeans, oil, and a cheap band that still matters. You have to, add it all up. And what does Xi get out of all this? He walks out of his own palace and tells his own people and his own party that he is a peer, that he is respected, that the American president flew across the Pacific to call him a great leader. In an authoritarian system built on the prestige of the man at the top, that is exactly the currency Xi needed most. Now, here's the part the worried side of the room needs to hear. Trump's pre-presidency line on China was that they were screwing America. He banned Huawei. He imposed tariffs the entire Washington consensus said were impossible. He put the CCP's military-linked ecosystem on the entity list. Restricted semiconductor exports, called out the currency manipulation and the IP theft. When saying those things in public made him a pariah. The man does not need a tutorial on Chinese power. What he needs before walking into a room with a leader whose political system runs on prestige is for that leader to feel respected enough to give up something real. I don't know why is this so hard to understand for so many people. Flattery costs Trump nothing. Substance is what he came home with. So, what to watch for next? She is coming to the White House on September 24th. Between now and then, watch 3 things. Watch whether Chinese refiners actually start cutting their Iranian crude purchases, because that is the proof the oil pivot is real. Watch the next round of Iran talks, because if China steps away from Tehran, Tehran's leverage on the strait collapses. And watch the Blackwell chip ban. As long as that stays in place, Trump still has the lever in his hand for the next round. So if you want my deeper analysis on geopolitics and markets, go check my blog, thepowerpundit.com. I can't say things there that I can't say anywhere else. Link in description. And share this video with your family and friends so they know what's really going on. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.